Now, when they announced that they're making a Harry Potter remake, I was like, well, who are they going to race swap? Because they can't help themselves. Like, they like to take the human genome and work with it and perfected it. And they're going to race swap. And it's always one way, right? Like, you're not going to get a white person played by an Asian. Like, the technology for that doesn't exist yet. They're not going to make a black person and make them white, because that would be racist. But what isn't racist, and it's actually what decent people do, is to make white characters black. Now, again, how did I know, right? Like, the moment they announced it, I haven't even seen the cast. How did I know? Well, the reason I knew is because a lot of these publications, whether it's the BBC or Netflix or Amazon, they actually require for you to do this. And even if you have a publication that doesn't require it, if you want to be nominated to certain awards where prestigious people go, you gotta go into that race ideology, right? And the race ideology, only the expert people can go, only the decent people can go, because you gotta be very careful. Again, like, if you take a black character and you make him white, you can lose your job, you can lose your career, you can end up on the streets starving, famished, while people spit at you. Because that's racism. But if you take a white character and you make them black, then the New York Times writes about you, and you have, like, the Democrats, just giving you awards, and they love you and they embrace you. It's kind of like that scene from the Game of Thrones where they take you up on arms and go like, Misa, Misa. But yeah, basically, at this point, like, they know this isn't popular, right? Because, like, black people don't like this. They don't like this pandering. You know what black people like? They like anime. That's what they like. Like they want things that are actually entertaining, and most importantly, no one wants remakes anymore. We're so fucking sick and tired of remakes, because when you make a remake, you admit that you got nothing else. You don't have creativity, you don't have anything, and so you're banking on the fact that this sold, and if you do it again, maybe it will sell again, right? It's kind of like chewing the hamburger again. No one wants to chew the same hamburger twice. And so, it would have been nice if they would have made a Harry Potter in Africa. Because I understand, like, within the lore, there actually is, like, a different university in Japan and there's a different university in Africa. It would have been so fucking awesome if they would have focused on the university in Japan or Asia, right? And you get to see how the wizards there are like. Maybe they're casting magic in a different way. Maybe they're doing things differently. And then they can travel around the world to other universities. Like, that would have been awesome. Right? Like, I would have paid good money in order to see that. But no, right? Like, we have a lack of creativity. And so we're back to this. Now what's interesting isn't that they're just race-swapping characters, but it gotta be race-swapped to drag that social justice point, right? So, like, if you do it to Snape, right? Like, they're not going to race-swap Voldemort. They're not going to race-swap a negative character, because that's racist, right? And so, like, they're doing it to Snape. Why do they do it to Snape? Well, what happens to Snape? He gets bullied. By who? By a white guy. Right? He gets bullied by the jock. He gets bullied by the cisgender straight white man, which is Harry's father. And I'm really curious to see if they're going to make that scene where they're hanging Snape in a tree. Because now he's black, right? So now all of a sudden you're changing the tone. You're changing the character, right? Like, now Snape's dad isn't just an asshole and a bully. No, he's a racist as well. He's hanging black people from a tree, right? You see what they're doing? And it's like, why would I want to see that? Because I know it's mean-spirited, and I know the reasoning behind it, right? Like, that's what wokeness really is. Like, wokeness isn't having a black person in the movie. No. The reason why you decided to have a black person that replaces a white character, like, first of all, it's cultural erasure, right? Like, the leftist activists keep saying white people have no culture, right? Like, did you hear that phrase? It's like, what is white culture? There isn't any. And so, this is not an observation when they say it. It seems to be a prophecy, because they keep taking things that were made by white people and they're replacing it with minorities. And so, like, imagine if you took jazz music and made a TV show about the invention of jazz, and you just replace the black people with white people. How would the social justice activists react? Well, we know how they would react. They would freak out, right? Like, because they would consider that cultural appropriation. And so they constantly do this to the point where corporations, like, have it mandatory, like a checklist, What if you want to release a production with them, or you want to get awarded by them, you want to get a prize, you got to do the cultural appropriation constantly, right? And it's like, because, okay, white people have no culture. Like, I understand that. I just happen to pick the short end of the stick. Like, I'm born on the only race on Earth that has no culture. Well, can we create a culture? No, we're not allowed. Why? Because, well, the moment you do, you get called a racist. And so, the problem with Harry Potter is that you already established the characters. Like, people already saw the characters from the first movies. Like, first of all, you shouldn't even make a remake. Like, you shouldn't even make a remake. And I understand why they do, because when they tried to do that spin-off with the Amazing Beasts and whatnot, it didn't sell that well. Like, people aren't interested anymore, right? Like, you can't trap lightning in a bottle twice. And so, instead of, like, trying something else, like, maybe this time it will stick. No, what they're doing is they're just remaking the same old Harry Potter thing, which I guarantee it's not going to be better than the original. Like so far, we had just constant remakes, constant sequels and prequels, and I can't think of a single one, not a single one where I can say, yeah, like the remake was actually better than the original. I think this will flop, to be honest. And again, it's not the race swapping. It's the fact that it doesn't allow for creativity, right? Like, there are rules now when it comes to making a movie. It's and I'm telling you this as a person who makes a game. Like, there are so many things you gotta worry about. You gotta worry about, like, not showing drugs, not showing alcohol, right? Like, just a complete list of things. And on top of that, you have, like, the social justice morality now. And it's not like creating art where a person can just, like, do whatever. It's kind of like making a product based on industry standards. Like, there are industry standards now when creating a film, and it's like, okay, but that's not an art, that's a product. It's two different things. And that's what they're making. They're making a product. It's not Harry Potter, the artistic thing that actually, again, say what you want about J.K. Rowling and say what you want about Harry Potter, but it did produce a strong cultural British hallmark. Like, everyone around the world knows of Harry Potter, whether they like it or not. It's British soft power. Right, it sold so much merchandise. It make people like Britain, right? And now it's being trashed. And again, it's not the race swapping that's going to be trashed. It's the remake that's like, there is no remake that can be good. I will eat crow if it happens that the remake is actually better than the original. It's not going to be. But it is what it is, I mean, they already ruined Doctor Who. I don't know if they have ruined James Bond yet or not, but I'm pretty sure they're going to try. And now they're going to go after Harry Potter. Again, like, Britain just insists on constantly spitting on its soft power achievements. Like, everything that Britain produced that went worldwide, I think Yes Minister is next, right? Like, they need to do a remake of Yes Minister. And focus on COVID and vaccines and how to stop mis and disinformation and how to squash Russian propaganda, right? Like, that would be the next thing that they should do. Let me know what you guys think, especially from Britain, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.